Back now with the latest on escalating violence in the Middle East. Overnight, a Palestinian gunman killed two Israeli brothers as they were driving in the occupied West Bank. That sparked violent attacks by several hundred Israeli settlers.
NBC News foreign correspondent Molly Hunter has been following the developments and joins us now with the latest. Good morning, Molly. So can you set the scene for us and tell us exactly what has happened here?
Yeah, Zinkley, Joe, good morning to both of you. It was an incredibly violent night. So to set the scene, the violence that we are talking about, and I think we have verified video to show our audience of it, is in a Palestinian town called Hawara. It is just south of Nablus in the occupied West Bank. Of course, Nablus, the site in the middle of the West Bank where we saw that deadly raid and those deadly protests last week. Now, verified video shows hundreds of Israeli settlers rampaging. That's the word a lot of Israeli media and a lot of the reports are using this morning, burning buildings, torching cars. Now, this was in response, in retaliation, according to Israeli settlers, for a Palestinian gunman who opened fire at a checkpoint nearby between the settlement and the Palestinian village, killing two Israeli brothers. They were both settlers. Now, an Israeli defense official, you guys just briefed international media, so we have a little bit more information. They say hundreds of reservists are now reinforcing the area, the entire area really now locked down in full control of the Israeli military. They also say there is now a manhunt going on for the Palestinian gunman who killed the two Israelis, and in response to the violence by those hundreds, those huge crowds of Israeli settlers, the Israeli defense official says those were terror acts. They arrested 10 Israelis. Now, there was at least one Palestinian killed last night in that violence, and this Israeli defense official tells media they are also searching for the perpetrator who committed that act.
So, Molly, I mean, looking at what happened to this Palestinian neighborhood, anything else you can tell us about the damage to homes and cars in the area?
Yeah, the videos are pretty shocking, and we have some aerial footage that we've seen showing almost 30 buildings, homes that have been torched, dozens of cars that are torched. Now, according to the Palestinian Red Cross, more than 390 people were injured. At least 3 ambulances were attacked on their way in, trying to get to the injured. The other number they're offering up is that at least 95 people were injured with tear gas. Now, Palestinian officials spoke about that one victim. At least one person has died, a 37-year-old man, and the Israeli defense official who briefed international media earlier today did say that the Israeli military was not involved in that shooting. What's interesting, though, talking to Palestinian officials this morning, is they are blaming the Israeli military, who have full control over that area in the occupied West Bank, for not stepping in and stopping this violence.
And Molly, notably, this all happened as Israeli and Palestinian officials were meeting in Jordan and pledged to de-escalate surging violence. Briefly, how did that meeting go, and does this latest round of violence affect those negotiations?
Yeah, it could be a pretty brief answer because there wasn't that much actually that came out of this. The important part is that it is very rare to have security officials from the Israeli side and the Palestinian side. And of course, look, Egyptian and Jordanian and U.S. officials were also present. But it is very rare to have those two sides meeting at this level, at that security level. They met in Aqaba in southern Jordan. The big takeaway, at least for Palestinians, was that Israeli officials announced a settlement freeze to pause building new settlements for at least 6 months. Though what happened immediately after, though, is that right-wing extremist members of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition almost immediately said, we weren't involved in these discussions. We did not agree to this. This is not something that we will abide by. You guys, what we are waiting to hear from Prime Minister Netanyahu is any kind of real conciliatory language, any kind of language that may tamp down violence, that may kind of rein in his coalition. And we have not heard that yet. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Molly Hunter, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.